Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamika. This is Library of Tomes, where I talk to you about all the bookish things going on in my life. Hi, welcome back. I hope you're doing great. Today I have a really fun video that I want to share with you. I am doing a fun collab. How many times can I say fun? Today I am doing a collab with my friend Angel, who, if you don't know, her channel is Jurassic Reads. I adore Angel so much. She is one of my favorite people. I have followed her for a long time and we have both been on BookTube forever, and I just adore her personality and everything about her. So if you've not seen Angel, you're gonna see her in this video, and then you're also go over and watch her channel so that you can see the video that we did. So today what we're doing is, if you like this book, try this one. What we wanted to do is something a little bit different, because I know that everyone here mostly reads romance, and then everyone on Angel's channel typically read horror books, because Angel does focus more on horror rather than romance. She does read romance just like I also read horror, but I tend to stick toward the romance section. I will say every romance that I recommended is a dark romance, so know that going into this and going into her video as well. So I'm going to share my recommendations, and then Angel is going to share hers. Make sure you go check out her video down in the description. The first book that I want to talk about is, no surprise, it is Whispers in the Dark by Letitia Newton. This is a very dark romance that I talk about all the time. It is a captor-captive situation, literally a double captor, double serial killer. Super gory, super violent. Let me tell you the gist of it, and then we will talk about some content warnings. So if you're new here, you've not heard me talk about this book before, hi, I love this book. This is a dark romance between a girl named Elena and a boy named Jacob. So Elena is taken captive by Jacob's father, and she is supposed to be a toy for Jacob, and Jacob is supposed to be following in his father's footsteps and learning how to kill and torture women and use them for his own pleasure, because that's what his father does. His father believes women are just toys and they are just there for a man's pleasure. Jacob is not like his dad though. He doesn't want to use Elena, and he wants to care for her. Like, he sees her and he immediately has like an emotional connection to her. So he has to kill and torture people along with his dad, and he's never been able to actually rape someone. He always finishes not in them, and his father thinks that he is gay because of this. And his father sexually assaults him, he sexually assaults all the girls, and it is the story of Elena and Jacob working together to overcome the issues and then be reunited later on. It is such a wild story. There are so many things in here that I can't share without spoiling the story, so let me just go ahead and be honest. There is a lot of content warnings in here specifically for rape, sodomy, body modifications, graphic violence, animal abuse, kind of. It's on dead animals, but like there's still some graphic stuff on animals. There's a lot in here. There's a miscarriage and murder. Go into this with precaution. It is so good though, and I really loved it.
For a recommendation that I would pair with Whispers in the Dark, I am going to steer more toward a book that has to deal with a mystery horror element involving kidnapping. That would be Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. This is a book about a woman who 10 years ago her daughter was abducted and just missing, and nobody can find out what happened. Since it has been 10 years and her daughter was 15, people have kind of lost hope in trying to find out what happened. But of course, the mother is obsessed. It still haunts her every day, and she is convinced that something happened that she can uncover. And then one day she meets a man at a coffee shop and they just hit it off. She's been unhappy for so long that finding someone to make her happy seems like the right thing to gear toward. However, she also meets his daughter, who looks strikingly like her missing daughter. And this starts to unravel a very uncomfortable horror story mixed with mystery about what happened to this main character's daughter and what happened to the daughter while she was gone. There are content and trigger warnings here for kidnapping, starvation, scenes of actively death and dying, animal cruelty, and forced impregnation.
So next up, I want to talk about Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRoe. This is a dark demon romance that I cannot shut up about. This has cults, human sacrifice, and it has ancient gods and other creatures. This was so intense and so much fun. It really read like a horror, like a gothic horror instead of a like paranormal romance, and it was beautiful. That was not a knock on the book at all. It was perfect. It was the exact atmosphere it needed to be. It was like Halloween in a book. It was perfect. I adored it. There are so many things in here. There are so many kinks, like consensual non-consent and needle play and blood play and all sorts of different things. And our hero, he's like bound to this cult leader, and he gets free, and he says that in exchange for saving her life, our heroine, all she has to do is give him her soul and he'll protect her. And she's like, I don't want to do that. And it's their romance. Absolutely phenomenal. Love this so much. Please read this if you get a chance.
For my recommendation to pair with Her Soul to Take, I would say my recommendation is the Nailbiter series. This is a 6-volume graphic novel series about a town where 16 of the worst US serial killers have been born from. They all have different tropes involved with them. The main character that we see here is the Nailbiter. He is someone who would kidnap and murder people and literally eat their nails, like their nails off of their bodies. There are so many gross things in this, but I think the sense of online presence, the popularity surrounding the town itself is something that really connected me with these two. Our protagonist, if you can call him that, is a serial killer. Like, you are so surprised that he is likable and you almost want to defend him at times, but you're seeing how the town deals with a resurgence of these serial killers, and you grow to like some of them, which is a very uncomfortable feeling. General trigger warnings for the entire series for body horror, violence, mentions of rape, as well as sexual assault, and just the general concept of serial killers and popularizing them or almost fetishizing them.
And then lastly, I want to talk about Captive in the Dark, which is a very dark romance by C.J. Roberts. This is a human trafficking story. So our heroine is taken as a human in human trafficking, and she's going to be sold into sex slavery. And our heroine ends up falling for her captor. He is not nice to her. He beats her. He hurts her, and more than just that, he also like has to be mean to her. He has to be cold to her, because like the whole point is that he is going to sell her off so that she can I don't remember if it's to make him money or if it's because he like has to do this because he's like in a contract for it. But like the whole point is like he doesn't have a choice in it, and he can't just let her go. And she is very distraught about this entire situation. I mean, who wouldn't be? They take you from your home, and then you are in the situation where you have to essentially like fight for your own survival. She is very headstrong, our heroine is. There is beatings in here that he at one point hangs her up by her hands and her arms, and she has to like hang on the bedpost, and he whips her, and he makes her hang at one point, and it hurts her shoulders. And there's so many different things going on in this book. It was very dark. It was a very interesting story. It did not end with an HEA, but I definitely want to continue on with it. But like, just know going in that you're going to get human trafficking. That is the dark element that you're going to get out of this, and she's going to fall for her captor.
For a book that I would pair with Captive in the Dark, I'm actually going to recommend a newer release. This is Near the Bone by Christina Henry. This is more of a slow burn horror thriller about a woman who lives with her very emotionally and physically abusive husband in the woods on a mountain, and they are in a very desolate area. The only thing around them is woods for many, many miles, and she only remembers this life with him and doesn't really have a way to push back against the things that are happening to her. And one day out in the woods, they discover tracks for something that does not look human. They find that there has been some sort of presence, a being in the forest. The husband wants to find out what happened, whereas the wife, our main character, wants to kind of advise him on this, but ultimately she is punished for kind of stepping out of line. It is dealing with a very fast-paced lack of control. There is a power dynamic between these two characters that is very hard to stomach at times, but I feel like it's very interesting because in order to understand how they got to this point, how they are together, you do need to slowly unravel the story of what happened to this girl. How did she end up alone on the mountain with this man? And in addition, there's this very interesting plot about something in the woods, something that is ultimately changing her life. There are content and trigger warnings in this for death of an animal, death, violence, gore, body horror, in addition to kidnapping and general amnesia surrounding one's identity.
So those are all of the recommendations for me. So if you liked any of the books I recommended, go ahead and check out the horror books that Angel recommended. I'm so excited to do this collab. I love Angel. I've said it 5 million times. So since we're doing horror, go ahead and leave me a spooky emoji down in the comments, a knife, a chain, a black heart, whatever you want to leave. Leave me a spooky emoji. Make sure you go check out Angel's video, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.